Let me take you to the deserts of Sudan, where in 1912, a group of archaeologists stumbled upon something extraordinary. As they carefully excavated a site near the Nile, they uncovered an ancient statue buried in the sand. The statue wasn't just any artifact, it was a fierce depiction of a one-eyed woman, holding a weapon in one hand and a shield in the other. What puzzled the archaeologists wasn't just the craftsmanship of the statue, but the defiant expression on her face. She seemed to radiate strength and authority, as if daring anyone to challenge her. Who was she? What story did this forgotten figure have to tell? Little did they know, they had uncovered the legacy of a leader who stood against one of the greatest empires the world had ever known. A leader whose courage and resilience have been buried in history, much like the sands that covered her statue. But what happens when someone challenges a superpower, and how does a ruler from a lesser-known kingdom carve a place in history against all odds? Let's uncover this fascinating story. Who ruled over what is now modern-day Sudan? Little known to most, she became a living legend of defiance when her kingdom faced the might of the Roman Empire. Amanirenas wasn't just a queen, she was a warrior, a tactician, and a diplomat. Known for her strength and resilience, she led her people with unmatched courage, even after losing an eye in battle. But what truly set her apart was her ability to stand her ground against one of the most powerful forces the world had ever seen. Despite being vastly outnumbered and outgunned, Queen Amanirenas challenged Rome head-on, not just on the battlefield, but through strategic alliances and fierce negotiations. Her story is a testament to the power of determination, leadership, and the unwavering desire to protect her kingdom and her people. Who was Queen Amanirenas? What challenges did her kingdom face? What happened when Rome set its sights on Kush? Why did Amanirenas challenge the Roman Empire? How did Queen Amanirenas lead her people? What were the key battles between Kush and Rome? What happened to Queen Amanirenas after her battles? Why is Queen Amanirenas' story not well known? What was the legacy of Queen Amanirenas? What can we learn from Queen Amanirenas today? The Kingdom of Kush was an ancient civilization located in Nubia, primarily in what is now northern Sudan and parts of southern Egypt. It emerged around 1070 BCE, following the decline of the New Kingdom of Egypt, and lasted until approximately 350 CE. The kingdom was characterized by its wealth from trade, particularly in gold, and its cultural influences from Egypt as well as its own distinct traditions. Amanirenas was a prominent queen of the Kingdom of Kush, known for her leadership during the late 1st century BCE. While specific details about her early life are scarce, she is believed to have been born into royalty, likely as a member of the Kushite royal family. She became queen after the death of her husband, King Teretekas, and took on significant responsibilities in governing the kingdom. Her rise to power coincided with a period of conflict with Rome, particularly during the Roman expansion into Egypt and Nubia. Amanirenas is noted for her strong and militaristic leadership style. She led her forces against Roman incursions and is celebrated for her resilience in defending Kushite territory. Under her reign, she maintained alliances with other regional powers and emphasized military strength to protect her kingdom from external threats. Her governance also reflected a blend of traditional Kushite practices, with adaptations influenced by interactions with Egypt and Rome. The Kingdom of Kush was significant during its time for several reasons. Cultural Bridge Kush served as a cultural and trade bridge between Egypt and sub-Saharan Africa, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and innovations. Its capital, Meroe, became a vital center for trade and culture, known for its unique blend of Egyptian and indigenous tradition. Military power. The kingdom was known for its military strength and even conquered Egypt during the 25th dynasty, ruling as pharaohs and preserving Egyptian culture while asserting their own identity. Kush is renowned for its impressive architectural feats, including numerous pyramids and temples that reflect both Egyptian influence and local styles. Before conflict arose, the relationship between the Kingdom of Kush and the Roman Empire was complex. Initially, after Rome took control of Egypt in 30 BCE, Kush maintained a degree of autonomy while engaging in trade with Rome. At times, Kush acted as a client state of Rome, providing military support to help secure Rome's southern borders in exchange for internal autonomy. However, tensions grew as both powers expanded their territories. The expansion of the Roman Empire posed a significant threat to Kush due to Rome's desire to control trade routes and secure its borders. As Roman power spread through Egypt and into Nubia, conflicts erupted over territorial claims. The Romans sought to prevent further Kushite expansion northward, leading to military confrontations. Notably, Roman forces retaliated against Kushite attacks on their territories, resulting in significant destruction in Kush. This expansion ultimately destabilized the region and contributed to the decline of the Kingdom of Kush. Rome sought to control the Kingdom of Kush primarily for its rich resources, particularly gold and other valuable commodities. Following the annexation of Egypt in 30 BCE, the Romans viewed Nubia as a strategic target to secure their southern borders and prevent further expansion of Kushite influence, which threatened Roman interests in the region. The wealth of Kush was also appealing for trade and taxation purposes, as it could enhance Rome's economic power. Rome first engaged with the Kingdom of Kush after taking control of Egypt. The Romans attempted to establish their southern border at the First Cataract, which is modern-day Aswan, and imposed taxes on areas considered part of Kush. This provoked a strong reaction from Queen Amanirenas, leading to military confrontations where Kushite forces attacked Roman garrisons, notably at Philae. This showcased their military prowess and resistance against Roman authority. During this period, Rome's approach to other kingdoms in Africa and the East was characterized by a combination of military conquest and diplomatic alliances. They often sought to incorporate neighboring regions into their empire while maintaining client states that could provide military support and resources. This strategy allowed Rome to extend its influence without direct control, as seen in their dealings with Kush, where they negotiated terms that allowed for some degree of autonomy in exchange for cooperation against common threats. Queen Amanirenas was prompted to resist Roman advances due to the threat posed by Roman expansion into Kushite territory, which began after the Romans annexed Egypt. The Romans imposed high taxes and established military garrisons in Nubia, undermining Kushite sovereignty and prompting Amanirenas to take action to protect her kingdom and its people from foreign domination. Amanirenas' motivations were both personal and collective. Following the death of her husband in battle against the Romans, she was driven by a desire for revenge and to honor his legacy. However, her primary focus was on the survival and freedom of her people, as she recognized the existential threat that Roman encroachment posed to Kush's independence. Her leadership was characterized by a commitment to defending her kingdom against foreign aggression. Amanirenas' background as a member of the royal family and her identity as a Kandake, a title for ruling queens in Kush, significantly shaped her decision to confront Rome. Raised in a royal environment with training in military tactics, she possessed both the authority and capability to lead her people into battle. Her position empowered her to unify the Kushite forces and inspire resistance against a powerful empire, illustrating how her royal lineage and identity as a warrior queen influenced her actions during this critical period. Queen Amanirenas employed several effective strategies to defend her kingdom against Roman forces. She capitalized on the temporary withdrawal of Roman troops for a campaign in Arabia, launching a surprise invasion with an army of approximately 30,000 soldiers. This offensive allowed her to capture key Roman-held cities such as Syene, Philae, and Elephantine, where she inflicted significant damage and took Roman soldiers captive, using the element of surprise to her advantage. Amanirenas demonstrated strong leadership by personally leading her armies into battle, showcasing her military prowess and strategic acumen. Her understanding of the local terrain helped her execute surprise attacks effectively, catching Roman forces off guard. Her ability to rally her troops and maintain morale, even after personal losses, including the death of her husband, made her an effective military leader. Additionally, her fearlessness and reputation as a warrior queen inspired loyalty among her soldiers. Amanirenas successfully took Roman forts through aggressive tactics and psychological warfare. For instance, she captured the Roman fortress at Syene, destroying Roman standards and statues of Caesar Augustus, which served as both a tactical victory and a symbolic insult to Rome. Her fierce counterattacks and willingness to engage in direct confrontations instilled fear in Roman forces, leading them to retreat in several instances. Ultimately, her relentless campaigns forced the Romans to negotiate a peace treaty that recognized Kushite sovereignty and canceled taxes on the kingdom. The Romans, led by prefect Gaius Petronius, retaliated by reclaiming lost territories and eventually besieging the Kushite capital of Napata. Amanirenas and her forces achieved significant victories despite being outnumbered by employing guerrilla tactics and taking advantage of the Romans' temporary absence during their campaigns in Arabia. The element of surprise played a crucial role. Her forces launched unexpected attacks that overwhelmed Roman garrisons before they could mount a coordinated defense. Additionally, the Kushites' knowledge of local terrain allowed them to execute strategic maneuvers that offset their numerical disadvantages. The Roman Empire reacted to these setbacks with increased military efforts. After initial losses, Petronius regrouped and launched counteroffensives to reclaim lost territories, ultimately razing Napata and capturing many Kushite soldiers. However, after facing a stalemate at Premnis, where Amanirenas surrounded his forces, Petronius sought a diplomatic resolution. This led to negotiations that resulted in a peace treaty, which acknowledged Kushite sovereignty and ended Roman attempts to collect taxes from the kingdom, marking a significant concession for Rome in light of their earlier setbacks. The conflict between Queen Amanirenas and the Roman Empire ended with a peace treaty negotiated around 21 or 20 BCE. This treaty was prompted by the ongoing military engagements and the realization by both parties that continued conflict was unsustainable. Roman prefect Gaius Petronius sought a ceasefire after facing persistent attacks from Amanirenas and her forces, which had significantly disrupted Roman operations in the region. The peace treaty secured by Amanirenas included several favorable terms for the Kingdom of Kush. The Romans agreed to withdraw from all Kushite territories they had occupied. The treaty exempted the Kushites from paying any taxes or tributes to Rome, which had been a point of contention. The Romans retained control over certain border areas, known as the Dodekashoinos, but the boundaries were adjusted to favor Kush, allowing for a more secure and autonomous position for the kingdom. The outcome of this conflict significantly bolstered the Kingdom of Kush's status as an independent power in northeastern Africa. The treaty allowed Kush to maintain its sovereignty without Roman interference for several centuries, fostering a period of relative peace between the two empires. This stability enabled Kush to focus on internal development and trade, solidifying its influence in the region until its eventual decline in the 2nd century CE. The successful negotiation also enhanced Amanirenas' reputation as a formidable leader, securing her legacy in history as a powerful queen who effectively defended her kingdom against one of the world's most powerful empires. Queen Amanirenas has not been as widely recognized as historical leaders like Cleopatra or Boudica due to several factors, including limited historical records and the bias of ancient historians. Most of what is known about her comes from accounts by Greek and Roman historians, who often marginalized non-European figures and may have portrayed her achievements in a less favorable light. Additionally, the Meroitic language, which was used in her kingdom, remains largely undeciphered, limiting access to primary sources that could highlight her significance. The historical narrative surrounding Amanirenas has been shaped by the perspectives of predominantly Greek and Roman historians who tended to focus on their own cultures while overlooking or simplifying the histories of African kingdoms. This Eurocentric viewpoint contributed to her obscurity, as her victories against Rome were often overshadowed by the more documented reigns of figures like Cleopatra who were part of the Roman narrative. Furthermore, the lack of comprehensive records from Kush itself means that many details about her reign and accomplishments remain unknown. Amanirenas' race and the geographical location of the Kingdom of Kush also played a significant role in her lack of recognition. As a black queen ruling in Africa, she was often excluded from mainstream historical discussions that favored European narratives. The Kingdom of Kush's location south of Egypt made it less accessible to ancient historians, further contributing to its marginalization in historical accounts. This geographical distance from the centers of power in Europe and the Mediterranean meant that figures like Amanirenas were less likely to be celebrated in history compared to their contemporaries in more prominent regions like Egypt or Rome. Queen Amanirenas' leadership significantly influenced the history of Africa and its interactions with the Roman Empire by successfully resisting Roman advances during the Meroitic Roman War from 25 to 22 BCE. Her military campaigns not only demonstrated the capability of African kingdoms to challenge imperial powers, but also established Kush as a formidable entity in the region. By forcing Rome to negotiate a peace treaty that recognized Kushite sovereignty, she set a precedent for African resistance against colonialism and imperialism, highlighting the agency of African leaders in shaping their destinies. Amanirenas exemplifies courage, resilience, and strategic brilliance in leadership. Her willingness to confront a dominant empire directly serves as a powerful lesson in standing firm against oppression. Additionally, her ability to rally and inspire her people illustrates the importance of unity and determination in overcoming adversity. Her story encourages contemporary leaders to embrace strength and resolve in the face of challenges. reinforcing that effective leadership can emerge from both genders. Amanirenas' story has often been overshadowed by more widely recognized figures like Cleopatra due to historical biases and limited documentation from her time. However, recent scholarship and cultural interest in African history have led to a resurgence of attention towards her legacy. As discussions around representation and recognition of historical figures evolve, Amanirenas is increasingly celebrated as a symbol of resistance and empowerment, particularly within narratives that seek to highlight the contributions of women and non-European leaders in history. This renewed focus is part of a broader movement to reclaim and honor African histories that have been marginalized or overlooked in mainstream discourse. Queen Amanirenas' story offers valuable lessons in courage, resilience, and strategic thinking that are applicable to modern leadership and resistance movements. Her ability to confront a powerful empire like Rome demonstrates the importance of defiance against oppression and the effectiveness of guerrilla tactics in overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. Leaders today can learn from her example by embracing adaptability and innovation in their strategies, fostering unity among their followers, and maintaining a clear vision for their goals. Amanirenas' defiance against Roman imperialism resonates with contemporary struggles for independence and freedom. Her leadership illustrates that collective action and determination can lead to significant victories against oppressive forces. In modern contexts, movements advocating for social justice, human rights, and self-determination can draw inspiration from her legacy, emphasizing the need for strong leadership and community solidarity in the face of external threats. Amanirenas serves as a role model for both women and men, as well as leaders across the globe, due to her exceptional leadership qualities. Her courage in battle and ability to negotiate peace highlight the duality of strength, both physical and diplomatic. As a woman who led her kingdom during a time of conflict, she exemplifies the potential of female leaders to inspire change and assert authority. Her story encourages all leaders to prioritize resilience, strategic thinking, and the welfare of their people, making her an enduring symbol of empowerment and effective leadership in diverse contexts. Queen Amanirenas and the Kingdom of Kush showed us that even against the might of an empire, the fight to protect one's people and culture is worth every sacrifice. So, what does her story teach us today? It reminds us that no matter the odds, standing up for what you believe in can change the course of history. If you enjoyed this story, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, what other forgotten figures in history should we uncover next? Thanks for watching.